Thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to present initial data from our phase 2 SPEARHEAD-1 trial for patients with synovial sarcoma and myxoid round cell liposarcoma, or MRCLS. I would refer you to the press release we issued this afternoon for more details and the disclaimers regarding forward-looking statements, which are also outlined here. At Adaptimmune, we share a vision and a mission to develop cell therapies to transform the lives of people with cancer. Today, we will show you data with afami-cel, previously called ADP-A2M4, which we intend to be our first marketed product. We believe afami-cel has the potential to make a meaningful difference for people with synovial sarcoma and MRCLS, and the data we will present today support this. At our Investor Day last year, we laid out our 5-year strategic vision for the company, or our 2252 plan. We aim to have 2 marketed products targeting MAGE-A4 on the market in the next 5 years, and 2 additional BLAs as well. Data from SPEARHEAD-1 will support our first BLA for afami-cel next year for people with synovial sarcoma and MRCLS. Based on results from our phase 1 SURPASS trial investigating a next-generation product also targeting MAGE-A4, we plan to initiate a phase 2 trial for people with esophageal and esophagogastric junction cancers in the next few months to support a potential next BLA. We are committed to continuing early-stage signal detection trials and enhancing our therapies so as to rapidly identify additional indications that can be advanced to late-stage development. We also have a deep preclinical pipeline of next-generation therapies, including TILs, as well as T cells aimed at a broader range of HLA types, new targets, and HLA-independent T cell receptors. These new receptors could be employed in our current autologous platform, or ultimately in our allogeneic or off-the-shelf platform that is advancing as planned through preclinical development. As a company committed to making a difference for people with cancer, afami-cel is a great first product. There is a tremendous unmet need for people with synovial sarcoma, and we have received remarkable support from the physicians who treat people in our trials, as well as those who advocate for better options. And now, I would like to turn it over to Dennis Williams, our Senior Vice President of Late Stage Development, to give an overview of initial data from SPEARHEAD-1 and the potential of afami-cel to provide significant benefit for people with sarcoma. Dennis?
Thank you, Elliot, and thank you for turning in. These data will be presented at ASCO by Dr. Sandra D'Angelo on June 4th in more detail, and I will provide a high-level overview today. On behalf of all of my colleagues, we want to thank Sandra and all of our investigators and clinical sites for championing our therapies. We also want to thank every patient, their loved ones, and caregivers for taking part in our trials. SPEARHEAD-1 is a phase 2 trial of our engineered T cell therapy, afami-cel, for people with advanced synovial sarcoma or myxoid round cell liposarcoma. Patients with advanced synovial sarcoma or MRCLS have a high unmet medical need for more effective therapies. To be eligible for treatment, patients need to be HLA-A02 positive and have adequate MAGE-A4 expression. And patients must also have previously received standard of care first-line chemotherapy. Efficacy is assessed by RECIST 1.1, and safety is monitored throughout the trial. At the time of our data cutoff in late March 2021, 37 patients had received afami-cel. These are the best overall response data for 33 patients in SPEARHEAD-1 who had at least 1 scan at the time of the data cutoff, 29 with synovial sarcoma and 4 with MRCLS. The overall response rate was 39%, and 41% of the patients with synovial sarcoma, including 2 patients with complete responses. There was also 1 PR and 2 stable disease out of the 4 patients with MRCLS, denoted by asterisks on the slide. Overall, the disease control rate was 85%. This data on this slide shows response data over time, and this initial data is very encouraging. The median duration of response has not been reached. However, responses appear durable, and reductions in target lesions over time have been observed. Most treatment-emergent adverse events were consistent with those typically experienced by cancer patients undergoing cytotoxic lymphodepletion chemotherapy or cancer immunotherapy. Hematologic adverse events, such as decreased blood counts, were among the most common adverse events, the majority of which were grade 3 or greater in severity. The cytopenias observed are consistent with the effects of lymphodepletion chemotherapy. Cytokine release syndrome was common and mostly low grade. One event was grade 3 or greater. Here, the key highlights of the data, and these data are very promising. Afami-cel is efficacious and well tolerated in heavily pretreated patients. We have seen deep responses. Emerging data suggests responses are durable, and Afami-cel was well tolerated. To build on what Elliot said earlier, I am confident about this product and the potential for this product to provide substantial benefit to people living with synovial sarcoma. I want to take a moment to put the data in context. Although these data are early, the responses observed compare favorably to currently available second-line therapies. So what's next for Afami-cel? Enrollment in cohort 1 is complete, and cohort 2 is currently recruiting. The primary efficacy analysis will be for cohort 1 only, which will be used to support the marketing applications. We plan to present updated data from cohort 1 later in the year. Cohort 2 will strengthen the efficacy and safety database and will aid in descriptive subgroup analyses. No formal hypothesis testing is planned for cohort 2. We are on track to submit Adaptimmunes' first marketing applications in both the US and Europe next year. We continue to have close interactions with regulatory authorities. Our regulatory designations facilitate interactions with regulatory authorities, and we continue to leverage these designations such as the Regenerative Medicine Advanced Therapy, or RMAT, or our European Priority Medicine Scheme, or PRIME. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to presenting data later in the year.